Breaking updates, very important.
A lot of people don't like her.
It is the real beginning of my life as a young lady of America. Of America.
She's got a big mouth. She talks trash.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
She trusted them. They were supposed to protect her. But now fans are saying Rachel Zegler may have been betrayed by her own agent. According to a growing number of rumors and industry leaks, Rachel's talent rep, the same person who helped negotiate her Evita contract, may be the one responsible for placing her in the middle of a career-destroying trap. It's not just about the leaked deal, it's what's inside that deal. A $5 million clause that could ruin her, a team that stayed silent when she needed them most, and a story that's got Hollywood buzzing.
Framing this as people not wanting her to win?
Oh boy. Okay, she's getting emotional in this clip, but also passive-aggressive.
She's kind of cute, but once she starts talking, it's just so fake. There's many of them.
Was Rachel Zegler set up to fail by the very people she relied on? Let's break it down, piece by piece, and uncover what's really going on behind the scenes of this Broadway bombshell. Rachel Zegler was Hollywood's golden girl not too long ago. At just 17, she landed the lead role of Maria in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, earning a Golden Globe and instant fame. Her voice, a soaring mix of power and vulnerability, made her a standout, and her charm off-screen seemed to promise a long, bright career. By 2023, she'd starred in major films like The Hunger Games prequel and Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and Disney cast her as Snow White in their live-action remake.
In case you were wondering, no, that has absolutely nothing to do with the new Snow White movie that Rachel Zegler has been cast for, the one that she's been hating on online for the past couple of months that people have been talking about. This is just a huge attempt by her PR team to make her seem like she's apologetic and the things that she's said about the upcoming film coming out. Don't believe it.
A role that should have cemented her as a household name. But then came Evita, the iconic Andrew Lloyd Webber musical about Argentina's polarizing First Lady, Eva Perón. It was supposed to be her big Broadway moment, a chance to flex her theater roots and silence the doubters who questioned her star power. The contract was signed in early 2025, with rehearsals set to begin at London's Palladium Theatre in June. On paper, it was perfect. A prestigious role, a visionary director in Jamie Lloyd, and a chance to sing Don't Cry for Me Argentina on one of the world's biggest stages. But there was a catch buried in the fine print, a $5 million conduct clause. Sources claim this clause could financially penalize Rachel for any behavior that tarnished the production's image, an unusual and punishing term for a 23-year-old actress still navigating the industry.
I don't want people to see me in a weakened state.
Zegler's career now looking like it is seriously on life support.
Fans are now asking, who let her sign this? Was her team asleep at the wheel, or was this a deliberate move to set her up for a fall? The answer lies in what happened next, and it's not what you'd expect. As Evita rehearsals began, the internet started buzzing with rumors. Anonymous posts on Reddit and TikTok painted a picture of chaos behind the scenes. Rachel was allegedly clashing with castmates, missing rehearsals, and creating tension in the tight-knit theater world. Clips of her looking emotional in interviews started circulating, with fans dissecting every word for clues. Some said she was exhausted, juggling a grueling schedule after the Hunger Games press tour and Snow White backlash. Others weren't so kind, calling her a diva who couldn't handle the pressure of a role as demanding as Eva Perón. One viral TikTok, with over 1 million views, showed Rachel snapping, "I won't pay ST" when asked about the rumored clause, fueling speculation that she was spiraling. But here's where things get suspicious. These leaks weren't random gossip. They were detailed, specific, and timed to hit when Rachel was most vulnerable.
Not to add fuel to the Rachel Zegler Oscar fiasco, but why did they have these women, all Disney princesses, all stated as Disney princesses, come out to present, but like not include Rachel Zegler, who's going to be Snow White? They're clearly acknowledging Disney princesses from movies that have not been released yet. Someone must have had this conversation and then they purposely left her out, even though she was the only one with a hit movie this year of the 4. Did anyone else notice promises, or am I overthinking?
Someone with access to the production, someone who knew the contract's terms, was feeding the press. Fans started to wonder, was this just theater drama? Or was someone orchestrating a smear campaign? The trail was leading somewhere unexpected, and it was about to blow the story wide open. The betrayal theory took off like wildfire when fans noticed a glaring absence. Rachel's agent, the one who brokered the Evita deal, was nowhere to be found as her name got dragged through the mud. Industry whispers, shared on platforms like Lipstick Alley and Broadway World, suggested her team knew about the $5 million clause from the start. They allegedly pushed her to sign the contract fast, framing it as a chance to pivot from the Snow White controversy that had already made her a lightning rod online. For context, Rachel's comments about the 1937 Snow White film, calling it dated and criticizing its prince as a stalker, had sparked a firestorm. Conservative fans slammed her for disrespecting a Disney classic, while others accused her of pushing a woke agenda. The film's March 2025 release was a box office disaster, grossing just $43 million domestically against a $270 million budget, and some even blamed Rachel's political posts, like her Free Palestine tweet, for alienating audiences. Her team saw Evita as a way to shift the narrative, to put her back in the spotlight as a serious artist. But instead of protecting her, they let her walk into a deal with a clause that could ruin her financially if she stepped out of line. Fans are now speculating, did her agent know this was a trap? And if they did, why didn't they fight for her? The silence from her camp was starting to feel like a strategy, and what came next only made it worse. Let's talk about that Snow White connection, because it's a huge part of this puzzle. Rachel's casting as Disney's first Latina Snow White in 2021 was a milestone, but it came with instant backlash. Critics argued her Colombian-Polish heritage didn't match the skin as white as snow description, ignoring the fact that the remake redefined the name as a nod to surviving a snowstorm as a baby. Her outspoken comments didn't help. In a 2022 Variety interview, she said the original film's love story was weird and that the new Snow White would focus on leadership, not romance. Fans of the classic felt attacked, and the outrage grew when she posted Free Palestine alongside Snow White promotion in August 2024. Variety reported that producer Mark Platt flew to New York to confront her about the post, and Disney hired a social media consultant to vet her tweets. The film's failure, $184.9 million globally against a $350 million cost, made Rachel a scapegoat, with some, like Jonah Platt, Mark's son, publicly blaming her personal politics for the flop. Her team's solution? Push her into Evita to redirect the headlines. But the leaks about her rehearsal behavior and that $5 million clause suggest this wasn't a rescue mission, it was a setup. Someone wanted her to take the fall, and the next clue points to who might have been pulling the strings. That silence from her team? It wasn't just negligence, it was deafening. As the Evita leaks spread, Rachel's agency didn't issue a single statement. No defense, no clarification, nothing to counter the narrative that she was a problem on set. In Hollywood, silence like that isn't loyalty, it's a power move. Fans on X started trending "Fire them now," with one video racking up 800,000 likes saying, her team left her out to dry, and that's not a mistake. The speculation grew that her agency was deliberately letting the story spin to save their own skin. If they admitted fault for the bad contract or the rehearsal chaos, their reputation would take a hit. Instead, they let Rachel absorb the blame. A TikTok with 3 million views laid it out frame by frame, showing how the leaks shifted the narrative from Rachel's being targeted to Rachel signed a bad deal and can't handle it. Her viral outburst about the clause didn't help, but where was her team to manage the fallout? Nowhere. Insiders on Reddit claimed her agency was already distancing themselves, framing her as a loose cannon to protect their other clients. But the real bombshell was still to come, and it's tied to a pattern that's bigger than Rachel alone. The internet went into overdrive when fans started digging into her agency's history. Turns out, this wasn't their first rodeo. Back in 2021, another young actress reportedly parted ways with the same agency after a public misstep. Her press appearances dried up, her project stalled, and fans noticed a shift in her social media tone, eerily similar to Rachel's current spiral. Broadway World forums and Reddit threads pointed to a pattern. This agency pushes clients into high-risk deals for quick exposure, then steps back when things go south. One user wrote, "They're known for fast-tracking talent into big projects, but when the backlash hits, they're ghosts." In Rachel's case, the Evita deal looked like a dream, awards buzz, an iconic role, but that $5 million clause was a landmine. Fans are now asking, did her team know it could derail her career and still push her to sign? Some speculate they saw her as a short-term asset, banking on her talent to boost their reputation before cutting her loose. Others say it's just ruthless business. Hollywood chews up young stars all the time, but when you look at the timing of those leaks, it feels personal. Someone close to Rachel had to know the details of that clause, and they chose to let it hit the press. The question is, who had the most to gain? Fans didn't hold back when the betrayal theory caught fire. Social media split into two camps: those who saw Rachel as a victim of a cutthroat industry, and those who said she brought it on herself. On X, "Fire Them Now" trended under her name, with one creator saying, "This girl is being fed to the wolves, and her team is hiding in the bushes." Another video, with nearly 1 million likes, argued, "No way she signed that clause knowingly. Her agent should have walked her through it, not let her fall off a cliff." But not everyone was sympathetic. Some pointed to her history of controversies: Snow White, Shazam, even her 2022 Oscars snub complaint, and said she's her own worst enemy. "She signed it, she owns it," one Lipstick Alley user wrote. Another added, "Her team didn't make her trash the original Snow White or yell about the clause, she did that." The split shows how polarizing Rachel has become, but it also highlights a bigger truth: something's not right. Whether you blame her inexperience or her team's betrayal, the story's bigger than one actress's meltdown, and the next chapter might change everything. So, what's Rachel Zegler going to do now? That's the question everyone's asking. Fans are watching her every move, waiting to see if she'll fire her team or stick with them. Some insiders whisper she's already consulting outside legal help, not just to fight the Evita clause but to review every contract she signed under her current reps. If that's true, this could escalate into a lawsuit, a full-on war against the agency that was supposed to protect her. Others say she's playing the long game, quietly planning a career reboot with a new team and a fresh project to win back the public. Her West End debut in Evita, set for June 2025, could be her chance to shine, but ticket sales are reportedly sluggish, with rows of seats unsold weeks before opening. The pressure's on, and the longer she stays silent, the louder the speculation grows. Is she trapped by exclusivity clauses that make firing her team a legal nightmare? Is she scared of more fallout? Or is she plotting a comeback that'll turn this saga into her redemption story? One thing's certain: Rachel's in a trust crisis, and every day she stays with her current reps chips away at her credibility. But there's a bigger question looming over this whole mess. This isn't just about Rachel Zegler's bad year. It's about trust, betrayal, and what happens when the people who build you up decide you're no longer worth saving. Rachel was supposed to be the next big thing, a Latina actress breaking barriers, a Broadway talent with a voice that could stop you in your tracks. But now she's fighting a war on multiple fronts, against a ruthless industry, against a fanbase that's split down the middle, and against the team that was supposed to have her back. If the rumors are true, if her agent pushed her into that Evita deal knowing it could ruin her, if they leaked that $5 million clause to save themselves, then this isn't just a scandal, it's a wake-up call. Hollywood has a long history of chewing up young stars and spitting them out when the headlines turn ugly. But Rachel's story could be different. If she breaks free, if she speaks out, she could expose a system that thrives on control and betrayal. Will she be the next cautionary tale, or the star who flips the script and takes back her power? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story's far from over.